Pilates with Paula. Today we're going to go through a comprehensive Pilates mat program that's going to include laying down, hands and knees, on your belly, sideline work, and some seated work. So we're going to cover a lot of ground. Some of the stuff that you'll want to support you as we go through the process today is something for your head. I like using a yoga block. You might want to use a pillow. You combine the two, so whatever you're comfortable with is fine. If you've got something like a flexible ball, really useful for leg stability work, that will come up later. So if you have something you can squeeze in between your knees, that's great. If you have a yoga mat, perfect. You'll want something you can lay down on that's going to support you and not feel like you're laying down on a hard floor. So something with some give to it is great. Grab some water and I'll meet you back here in 30 seconds. All right, let's lay down and get started. Make sure you've got something comfortable underneath your head. You're going to stretch out, open up all your breath centers. Now, if you can, ultimately we're trying to traction you out here and create internal length. We want the arms back. If we've got some shoulder issues, this is fine. Don't worry about it. Just breathe and open. Flex your feet and take a deep breath in with me. Pull and reach on your exhale. Do that again. Big breath in. Pull and reach on your exhale and start visualizing internal space between the rib cage and the pelvis. Start visualizing internal space between your spine and the vertebra between your spine. We're going to do that one more time. On this exhale, pull one knee into your chest and give it a nice deep squeeze into your hip flexor. You can rock it from side to side here. We're just moving synovial fluid here around the hip so that we're warming up the pelvis and a little bit into your low spine. Go ahead and change sides here. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and pull. Get it nice and deep within your hip socket and then rock it from side to side. Don't worry about technique here. We're just warming up your pelvis and your hip. We're going to come back to your first side and we're going to do a little half leg circle. You're going to draw your leg up. It's going to flop over to the side. The pinky edge of your foot is going to reach down and then you're going to do it again. Slide it up, flop it open, pinky edge slides down the mat and pull it up again. Don't worry about technique. Just open up and warm up your hip here. We're going to do that one more time. Remember to keep that breath nice and open and flowing with everything. Get used to working with your breath here. 2 more times on this side. You're going to pull that leg up and the second leg is going to join it. We call this hook line position on the mat. You're going to interlace your fingers next. They're going to come behind your head. I want you to feel the weight of your head in the palms of your hand. Gather your elbows to the ceiling. Draw your head up, opening and stretching through your cervical spine. Hold and breathe in between your shoulder blades. So find that mid-back space. Open it up with the breath. Think about sinking into that space as you exhale. We're going to take this stretch into a rotation. Allow one elbow to lead forward as the other elbow opens back. And then come back to the center with a slide and a glide. And then do the opposite side. Come back to the center. Give it one last pull and breath into your mid-back. And then slowly release your head down. Your arms are going to be comfortable here. You're going to go into a tailbone rock or a little pelvic tilt, we call it. This is setting up your spine. You can see how my head gets pulled with my tail. This is an important part of the work. You don't want to block your movement up through your chest or through your head. So wherever your tail sits, It's going to align your spine all the way up to your head. In neutral, we want the tail to drop, the lumbar curve to be natural, the ribs to sit flat with your pelvis, and your cervical curve to be natural. This is what happens a lot, and I call this a soft spine. We just sort of sag backwards and we're relaxed. In Pilates, you want that neutral curve. All your natural curves of the spine are present. Find that tailbone weight. Get used to this rock. We're going to come back to it over and over again. Be comfortable with finding it. Once you've got that neutral curve set up, we're going to come into some really nice breath work. Feel free to lay your hands on your belly or your ribs and let the breath rise in your torso. Keep squeezing all the breath out. We're going way past where we would normally exhale here to feel lots of abdominal contraction and layers of it right down into our pelvic floor. Nice deep breath in again. Let the torso rise. And exhale. I want you to keep going with your breath. What you're looking for here is you're looking for 3 dimensions of swelling on your inhale. The belly, the back, the sides of your rib cage, and your chest. When you exhale out your mouth. You do it relaxed, you do it consistent until you're squeezing right down into the lower portion of your belly that includes your pelvic floor. And when you find it, it'll feel like an internal gathering to help you squeeze the last little bit of that breath out. I want you to really notice those contractions, because I want you to become conscious of them as we're going to get a lot more active. So I need you to find those abdominal contractions. Do it one more time with me. Now I want you to hold on to these lower belly contractions where you feel a lot of integration between the ribs and the pelvis. And I want you to continue to breathe. Don't let these contractions go. You have to focus on them. This is where it becomes body-mind work, conscious connection. Keep focusing on these contractions here. This is what's coming up next. You can see where my hands are. I'm working with bony landmark here between my rib cage and my pelvis. I don't want this. I want this. I want this connection here between these 2 structures, rib cage and pelvis. When you exhale, you're naturally contracted and holding. I want you to practice taking one leg off your mat. We call this tabletop. This is dead foot tabletop, and we'll be working with both of them. So from a tabletop position, you're going to alternate, contract, connect, and lift. Don't lose this. Take a little sip of breath here. Lower. This is our focus. Little sniff of breath. Lift. Little sniff. Lower. Now keep going. What you're looking for here is nothing to move. We're looking for stability. If we don't have the abdominals working, we don't have stability. Your spine is going to move because this weighs a lot. And it's going to start to pull your spine in the direction of that movement. So you need to really hold and integrate here. Work with your breath. It's about to get harder. Are you ready? Here we go. One leg comes up. Take a sniff. Second leg, get more connected. That's a lot more work. I call this percolating. You can feel how the abdominals are holding on to the femur at 90 degrees to your pelvis and not losing the integration of the rib cage. This is all muscular core work. So this is a really important setup to understand when it gets harder in the future. Drop your toes down now into dead foot tabletop. This is This angle of your legs here at tabletop can put a lot of strain on the hip flexor right below my fingertips here. Drop it. That releases the hip flexor. That's always optional. Anytime you feel the hip flexor, change the angle of your legs, okay? You're going to take one foot down to tap and lift, second leg down, tap and lift. This is our focus. Pull the belly towards the spine. We have 4 more here. 2 and 1. Bring those legs up. This time, close the knees and squeeze. This is where your flexible ball or your yoga block can come in between your knees. Drop your feet. On your exhale, I want you to search for the mat. I'm working really hard here with those lower abdominals. Little toe taps here, working with this integration. You have 4 more. And 3. Little sniff, exhale, little sniff, exhale. Let's do 1 more. Hold and breathe here. Slowly, slowly, slowly find your mat. Go ahead and separate your feet. We're going to go into our ab prep. So this incorporates upper abdominals here. You have a couple of options for working with your upper body. Some people like to reach out through the arms. You can see what happens to my shoulder, right? It rolls forward. Other people like to rotate the palm. That rolls this humerus bone back in the shoulder socket. That's where we want it to sit. We don't want this. So you've got a couple of options to experiment with. Your third option is back behind your head. Interlace the fingers and support your head up. This is especially important if you've had any neck injury, like whiplash. That's always an important modification that you come into. Okay, 4 breaths. Here we go. You're going to start finding your neutral pelvis. Drop that tailbone. Take a nice deep inhale and fill your torso. On your exhale, drop your shoulders, reach through those arms and roll your head up. Nothing should change here. We don't want to see a flexed spine. You want that tailbone dropped and you want to see it flat between your ribcage and your pelvis. When you're in this position, I want you to stay here and take a nice deep breath in. Then slowly lower your upper spine to bring your head back. Remember, don't lose this connection and do it again. Take an inhale, reach through the arms, exhale, inhale to stay, exhale, and roll it down. I'm going to do a couple just with the breath. One more time with me. All right, let's make this slightly harder. I want you to focus on your lower belly, and I want you to start that Pilates breath again. Every time you exhale, I want you to imagine that your feet are getting lighter and lighter on the mat. Now, some people like to just do a little heel hover. Other people want to come into a full hover. It's really up to you here. But this is the focus of the next 4 ab prep. Here we go. So a nice deep breath in to start. Reaching through those arms. Exhale. Inhale and hold it here. Now follow your upper spine down. Place your head back on your block or your pillow. Take an inhale. Reaching through your arms. Follow that exhale up. Stay for an inhale. And now slowly take it back. You're going to do 2 more here. Take a nice deep breath in. You can feel the change of the work here. We've become more active across the abdominals. 1 more and we're going to finish. Take a nice deep breath in. Reach. Inhale and stay. Exhale and bring it down. Now you can take your first rest. Draw your knees into your chest. Rock it from side to side here. All right, let's take the next section. And now I want to talk a little bit more about the breath. Breath allows integration of core contractions naturally. Once we have synthesized our breath to our movement, we use it consciously for the purpose of stabilizing some joint structures while we mobilize through others. I hope what you got out of that first section was how important your breath is to stability and mobility. It synthesizes everything. You have natural contractions that take place. We're just going a little bit deeper with that breath so that we can focus on some